There is another new lawsuit against Diddy, and this one is incredibly, incredibly graphic. So here is your trigger warning. My name's Alex, I'm an attorney, I've been practicing for a decade, and I am going to break this case down for you. This is another civil case. It was filed in California. It was not filed anonymously as Jane Doe. It was filed by a woman named Ashley Parham, I'm not sure how to say her last name, but these are her allegations. The plaintiff is suing Diddy, Christina Coram, who was his personal assistant for a very long time, Shane Pierce, and some John Does 1 through 3 and a Jane Doe. She doesn't know the identities of these defendants. That's why they are Jane Does and John Does. Through discovery, she may find out their identity and then she can name them. And here's a second trigger warning because, again, this is very graphic. Okay, so the plaintiff alleges that back in 2018, she was with defendant Shane, and Shane was trying to show off, and he FaceTimes with Diddy, and the plaintiff was not impressed and made a comment about how she thought that Diddy was responsible for Tupac being killed, and Diddy did not like that comment, and he said that she would pay for that comment. A few weeks later, plaintiff goes to defendant Shane's house because he said that he needed help with his cancer medication. So she goes over there, and then he says, I want to take you on a ride in my new car. So they leave, they come back, he leaves the door open. About 10 minutes later, Diddy shows up. Diddy starts antagonizing plaintiff about her comment that she made about Tupac. Diddy had a knife. He went up to plaintiff, held it to her cheek, and threatened to give her a Glasgow smile in retaliation for the comments she had made on that FaceTime call. Then defendant Coram, Diddy's assistant, said, oh, you don't want to do that because we wouldn't be able to sell her for sex. She also threatened plaintiff that they could send her anywhere in the world and get rid of her. At that point, plaintiff alleges that Shane and Diddy started to undress her, poured lube all over her, and Diddy instructed his assistant Christina to insert what looked like a syringe into plaintiff, and then they were talking about how the IUD wouldn't work, so you can kind of interpret that maybe he was trying to put an IUD in, but the allegations aren't super clear here, and it's probably because plaintiff was also not very clear on what they were doing. At that point, Diddy gave up with the syringe and instead took a television remote and started violently inserting it into plaintiff and assaulting her. He told Shane to put her on her stomach because he was sick of hearing her scream, cover her head with a pillow, and continued. And then Diddy instructed Shane to anally RAPE her. After Shane, Diddy and defendant Doe 2 all anally RAPE'd her. Diddy told defendant Doe 1 to do it as well. Doe 1 put more lube on her and jumped on her like a slip and slide, knocking the wind out of her, and then he vaginally RAPE'd her. At this point, plaintiff says she could not even control her body. Defendant KK came to assess her. She had a huge bag full of medications. Pulled out a pill. Diddy put the pill in her mouth and made her take it. Diddy, Shane, KK, and Doe 1 all went outside, started smoking, and plaintiff, when she finally could move again, tried to gather her things in the room. She couldn't find her stuff. All she could find was a t-shirt. She put on the t-shirt. She went downstairs, grabbed a knife from the kitchen, and tried to go outside. When Diddy saw her, he said he was surprised she could move because he gave her enough drugs to take out a horse. And then he was joking, asking her why they don't party together because it's so fun. Plaintiff told Diddy he RAPED'd her. Diddy had his person, one of his people, pull out their phone, which appeared to look like someone was outside of plaintiff's sister's house, estranged sister's house, videoing her, so plaintiff was scared about that. And then Diddy started offering her money to shut her up. She said she would not take any money. Diddy even called his mom, and his mom was on the phone telling plaintiff not to report her son. Somewhere in there, Diddy makes a comment about Tupac that defendant Doe 1 didn't like, and they started kind of getting into it, where Doe 1 was pointing a gun at Diddy. Plaintiff tried to grab the hand that had the gun. It went off towards the hill. Everyone kind of scattered, running. Diddy started running. There was like a little shuffle when they were going down the stairs, and plaintiff did have the gun, or plaintiff had her knife still, was pointing it at Diddy. Diddy was kind of pleading like he was the victim here. And then she did at one point end up swiping him in the abdomen. That's when all of his people started giving him attention to try and stop the bleeding or whatever was going on. And the plaintiff was able to escape. Plaintiff went to the neighbor's house. A sheriff showed up. She reported the incident to the sheriff and said Diddy's name. A couple days later, she went to her doctor, asked for HIV, AIDS testing, did a rape kit. The hospital called the Walnut Creek police. She reported what happened to the Walnut Creek police, did not say Diddy's name that time. And then she also ended up contacting the Orinda Police Department a few weeks after that. Again, did not say Diddy's name in that report. During that report, she did give her underwear to the police department and they were never returned. She doesn't think that the police department ever did anything to investigate it. There are a lot of causes of action in this lawsuit, and since this video is already over 5 minutes, I am going to save those for another video.